So hey, about Marvel's Wolverine, the next big Insomniac game coming to your PlayStation 5 and most likely, inevitably, Steam in like 3 years. My opinion on that game has been all over the place. And my opinion kind of like sizzles down, and I start really looking into it, and I realize maybe my thoughts aren't, maybe my thoughts aren't as black and white as I want to be for the engagement bait YouTube channel that I just can't seem to make. I just have a hard time with it because it feels disingenuous when I talk like that. It does. So I'll be honest with you. I have been enjoying a lot of the snark towards Wolverine on the PS5. I've been enjoying a lot of it. I have been partaking in some of it. When the game first got announced, I held a very middling opinion of it. I said that game's gonna come out and be just okay. It's not going to do anything special. It's not really going to amaze me. I'm not going to buy it. I have all the DLC for Spider-Man. I played Spider-Man maybe twice now in my life. The first one, I loved it. The second one came out, Miles Morales came out, and I was like, meh. It's hard because the only thing Insomniac games seem to be leaving with is, I don't leave a lot of these Marvel Insomniac games thinking, I want more. And I think that's a problem. Because, look, let's get into the main kind of crux of why I wanted to talk about this. Marvel's Wolverine is another victim of the internet's endless gaming negativity by GameSpot. Oh boy, I wonder what they could possibly have to say to add to this conversation. The article basically goes on for an extended tirade about how social media, especially social media platforms like Twitter, rightfully so, platforms like X and Twitter, or platforms like Twitter, I'm just gonna call it Twitter. Fuck you, it's just Twitter. Elon Musk is a Nazi and a little bitch. So, yeah, the platform is made to pretty much pay people for having inflammatory claims, because inflammatory claims get people to click on social media, and it keeps people on the platforms, and so, social media discourse has never been this unhealthy. It has never been this concentratedly bad. And then on top of that, they started paying people for having highly engaging posts. So it's always been a recipe for disaster. The real problem I have with this, isn't so much that like, oh, people have been... Let me just read this one quick quote. One of the primary complaints stems from Marvel's Wolverine's being a linear single-player action game instead of an open-world one like Marvel's Spider-Man 2, which, ironically, was chided for being just that prior to release by people online who claim to have open-world fatigue. That is so disingenuous, it's almost as bad as the people on Twitter making fun of Wolverine. Right? So, I want to break that down a little bit. People are making fun of Marvel's Wolverine for being a linear single-player action game. What do you really mean by that, right? Because I'll tell you what that sounds like to me. We've seen footage of the gameplay. We've seen footage of the, the narrative-y bits. Look, I'll tell you what. I'm just as exhausted with the Sony pick up your controller, put it down for 30 minutes to watch a cutscene, Naughty Dog isms that we've kind of fallen into as the video game industry has seemingly shot towards a, look, we're like movies. We promise we'll only make you press the X button. We promise. So a lot of that has unfortunately bled into how everyone is fucking making video games in the AAA sphere. I would say AAA gaming has been so poisoned for me. When I talk to my friends about video games, I go, I don't know what the fuck is coming out. I'm not excited for anything. I don't have a Switch 2. I have a PlayStation. I've just been playing indie games, man. How about Pseudo Regalia? That shit's been absolutely awesome. Go play that. That was great. I loved it. So when they're complaining about it being linear, I don't think they're complaining about it in the same way they complained about Marvel Spider-Man 2 being an open world game. I think they're complaining about it because the footage that we're seeing of the game looks like shit we've already seen before. It looks like done. It looks tired. And there are a lot of people that are rightfully so going to see that and think that's okay. I'm not really looking for something extraordinary from this game. And in that case, it's hard. You gotta let them enjoy it. There are some people that see Wolverine and they're like, yeah, I'm excited for it, man. And then there are some people that go, no, not really. It doesn't look like it's doing anything interesting. It doesn't look very unique compared to a lot of Insomniac's other games. It looks relatively derivative of all of its contemporary works. It just looks like a Spider-Man game with a Wolverine coat of paint. Those people are valid. And to lump all of these people into the same category of people as chuds that are going online and saying, this game has a woman in it! Kill yourself! You're doing a bit of, you're shuffling the cards a little bit in a way that doesn't really have the conversation that you don't want to have. It's a bit of a straw man here, okay? It's a bit of a straw man. Are there people that are genuinely worried about, like, the fucking Wolverine game being gay? Yes. Are those people to take seriously? No. But the people that are like, I just haven't been convinced that this is doing anything unique. Those are the people you should be speaking to. The people that are just like, yeah, I would have bought it anyways, whoa! You don't owe those people anything. You should not be marketing to those people. You should be marketing your game to people that aren't sold on it yet. You should be selling your game off of its gameplay. Feel like that's a lost art these days. I will say, the gameplay of Marvel's Wolverine, none of us have fucking played it. The only people that have played it are fucking gaming journalists, of which I will not hesitantly speak negatively of. In fact, and this was really weird when I realized it. To cap off the point, people didn't like Spider-Man 2's open world because it was an empty fucking open world. People don't like Marvel's Wolverine for being linear because it looks boring. People don't like Spider-Man 2's open world because it was boring and there was nothing to fucking do in it. If I'm writing this article, wait a second. Those do sound like the same things. Not, well, they didn't like it because it was linear and they didn't like it because it was open world. Make up your mind, general gaming audience. Be a little more curious. Be just a little more curious before we write an entire fucking article going, these people want $80 of your money, but some people are being really mean to them. I don't know, man. Do I think game developers should be harassed? Fucking no. Normal people don't talk like that. Normal people go, hey, how are you, man? How's the weather? Okay? It's just that sometimes you owe somebody something. If I go, hey, buy my lemonade, and somebody goes, how much sugar is in the lemonade? And I go, why are you being so mean to me? I'm not gonna buy your fucking lemonade, man. It's just not something that's gonna happen. So I'm gonna skip a shit ton of this article because so much of this article is just like, no, guys, you don't understand. It's people online make money from being inflammatory. We fucking know, dude. We're not going to GameSpot to hear, we're not reading a Wolverine article on GameSpot to hear about how social media pays people for inflammatory posts. We're here to learn about Wolverine. And so, and this is the hard part, they undermine themselves in this article. Another quote right near the end. Marvel's Wolverine launches on September 15th, Undertale, and so far, early previews suggest it'll be a rock-solid entry in Insomniac's library of superhero games. Quote, it's undeniable that Insomniac's take on Logan is firmly planted in familiar game design. But Wolverine is clearly doing more than just fitting a typical story of the character in it. So, and, you know, I watched GameSpot's 10 minutes with the game. And even in that, all the guy could say was like, yeah, it's been done, but it's good. So, like, I think we're all trying to have the same conversation here. It's just that instead of having that conversation, we're looking at a vocal minority of people that we have already come to the conclusion may not be in the best mind for a discussion. Right? So if you go, oh, well, these people are saying this, but they're being paid to on social media to say this. It's very, very astroturfed engagement bait stuff. Okay, what about the people that maybe aren't calling you slurs, but are still saying that Wolverine should be doing a little bit more? And I'm not going to talk about Wolverine the character. I don't read comics. I watch all the superhero movies, sure, but it's a different story. I would never call somebody that watches only the Sonic films a Sonic fan. And I wouldn't call someone who watched the Mario movies a Mario fan. Fuck you, 6-year-old kid watching this. Right? So just because I watched the movies and played the games, I wouldn't call myself a Wolverine or a Spider-Man fan. But I'm not really upset about the character so much. I'm just upset that the game doesn't really look that interesting. So because of that, I'm probably not going to buy it. So, go figure. At the end of the day, I think my main point with this is be a little more curious. Obviously, I mean no ill will towards the author of this article. I think they did as good of a job as they could have to be like, people are upset. Here's why people online can be upset sometimes, but here's what we think of Marvel's Wolverine. The only problem is it's not curious about, this article is not curious about having a conversation about why people are critiquing this game. And I think that's more disingenuous than maybe even some of the conversations around the game. You know, is it funny when people are making fun of the Sentinel boss fight for looking like a Ben 10 video game from the Wii era? Unfortunately, yeah, that's really funny. And maybe we can have a conversation about that without you going... Calm down, man. Maybe I can look at that tweet of Wolverine with the fucking Subway Surfers token, and we go... Alright, you got us. It is pretty derivative and uninteresting to have a chase sequence in a video game that doesn't do anything other than make you hold forward. You got us. Maybe we can have a conversation. Maybe video games don't automatically get our money. Maybe video games owe us an interesting experience, or should be marketing themselves in a way that clearly demonstrates to an audience of people that are not already sold on the game why they should get the game. And if you really don't think you have anything to sell it on, go back. Go to the chopping block. You know? I will say Wolverine's like rage mechanics seem a little derivative of like the Yakuza Heat Bar. But unfortunately, it's not really that interesting. I'll just try and make this point as quickly as I can, but like, in the Yakuza games, the more combat, or the more you fight, the better you fight, the less you get hit, the more you build up heat. Using heat in specific situations, like grabbing an enemy, holding them to a wall, grabbing a weapon, punching an enemy, making them turn around, and standing in front of them. All of these make triggers that have unique heat actions, or like big attacks, that are fun to execute, look really cool, and reward good playing. Wolverine's not really doing something like that. It's just doing like, if you get hit too much, you get too angry and lose yourself. Wolverine has a healing factor, yada yada. And the better you do in combat, you can use that bar to heal. That is some first draft shit. Come up with something more fun than that. Unfortunately, the way the game seems to be going, and what I've seen from the gameplay that GameSpot released, the more rage you build up, eventually you get to go into like level 3 rage, where the screen goes black and white and you just slash all the enemies. And the way the guy was talking about it, I was like, okay, what do you actually do though? And of course, all you do when you get to level 3 is just mash the shoulder buttons. That's fucking boring. They're rewarding good gameplay by giving you less gameplay. How is that a good thing? Again, it's derivative. There are conversations, level-headed conversations we should be having about game design. What keeps players playing? What's interesting? We should want to do new things. We should. I understand why we're not reinventing the wheel with a already existing trilogy of Spider-Man games that go from great to... No, okay. But I think the conversation is, why are my games, why are these AAA games being developed by people that aren't really that curious to do something risky or unique? I think maybe that's more of the conversation that you can sift through if you get a little curious about why people are really upset or in arms or, you know, being assholes about the new Wolverine game. And this is, of course, no disrespect to the people that work on this game. There are real people behind these screens that are working really hard on this game, and, you know, it's a great quote. Nobody goes out starting to make a bad game. It's true. So somewhere in all of this, whether it's Sony or Insomniac or time or budget, eventually people land on the idea that, like, yeah, let's just be safe. It's just not how you get interesting games. So I think from all of that, from the GameSpot article to all the tweets about it, I think somewhere in the middle we find why people are actually that upset about Wolverine. Why, you know, maybe why I don't find it very interesting. But I find games like Yakuza interesting. So, you know, are you giving a chance to Wolverine? Do you care? That's such a good question. Do you care? Are you one of those people that's just like, I don't care, it has a character I like. I don't play video games to play video games. I play video games to stare at a TV and mash some buttons on a screen after work because I'm a fucking tired person, Joey. Reluctantly, I have to let you have that. Reluctantly, I don't want to have a conversation with you where I'm like, well, you should actually be curious and more interested in the arts of video games and how video games are developed. No. I don't, you know, man, I hope you had a good day at work. Go relax. You know? It's just hard because a lot more these days it feels like games and movies and media are being made for people like that who are just like, I don't care, man, just give me something to look at, than people that want it, people that are interested. Maybe even that's too muddled. Who knows? Maybe I'll end up playing Wolverine. Maybe I'll end up playing Spider-Man 2. Maybe I'll end up playing Spider-Man Miles Morales. Or maybe I'll just replay Spider-Man again on the PS4. It was pretty great. I'm not going to lie to you. I also have the PS4 version. Before they did that weird thing where they swapped face actors. Also a familiar thing with the Yakuza series. Go follow me on The John Chairs. That's my main channel. That's where I make videos. I promise. Check out this channel if you're interested in the occasional rant style video like this, or daily live streams, because I also stream every single day on both Twitch and on this channel. It's a little thing called multi-streaming that the kids are doing these days. Leave a comment, leave a like. Hopefully I've kept your attention this entire time. It would mean the world to me if you stayed. Share this video with a friend. Share this video with your mom. And when your mom is like, who is that? Be like, it's my friend. Don't let her see this part though. We're not friends. Okay, bye. All right, bye. I'm Wolverine. I'm Wolverine and I'm woke and I'm angry. Roar!